they're gonna keep coming for you until they can destroy you. And this is their lawfare. This is their weaponization of the state, of the mechanisms of the establishment against anyone who they disapprove of. And Tommy Robinson is clearly one of those guys. We just had some great news. He's getting out. Fantastic. And so, bam, straight away, they hit you with the left hook. It's disgusting.
The UK is an international embarrassment under Slippery Starmer. We are now widely regarded in the US as a totalitarian, authoritarian state where free speech no longer exists. And the British deep state's sick bid to keep its political prisoners locked up has continued this afternoon, with Tommy Robinson, just 2 days after confirmation he will be finally free from 7 months of solitary confinement at HMP Woodhill, charged with a new crime, this time the harassment of 2 MSM journalists.
Before we break to that breaking news that the political activist Tommy Robinson has been charged with harassment of 2 journalists. His real name, of course, is Stephen Yaxley Lennon. He's accused of 2 counts of harassment causing fear of violence and will appear at Westminster Magistrates Court on June the 5th. The alleged offences taking place in August the 5th and 7th, 2024. So that news just coming into us from the Crown prosecution. Again, we will return to that story a little later.
Welcome back, and we have some breaking news for you now, and it's this. Tommy Robinson, of course, his real name, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, has been charged with harassment causing fear of violence against 2 men in August last year, the Crown Prosecution Service has just said. Now, if you recall, yesterday the news was that Mr Yaxley Lennon could be released early. This undoubtedly will have an impact on that. We don't know the details of that yet. But just to repeat the breaking news line, Tommy Robinson, real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon, has been charged with harassment causing fear of violence against 2 men in August last year, the Crown Prosecution Service has said.
Well, where do I begin? Okay, firstly, let me tell you how the establishment works to silence discussion around these types of sick, deep state witch hunts. Because I actually know a lot about this case. I discussed it with Tommy in prison in December, and there is so much to be said about the madness of this new bid to get him locked up. But of course, the state has warned us today. The Crown Prosecution Service reminds all concerned that criminal proceedings against the defendant are active and that he has the right to a fair trial. So in other words, zip it, or we'll lock you up too. There is such cruelty with this timing, of course. It really does feel like the deep state will not stop until Tommy Robinson is mentally and physically broken, or better still for them, dead. Before this latest charge, there had finally been hope, with Team Tommy posting, Tommy will be a free-loving man soon. We can unequivocally state that Tommy is in high spirits, he is buzzing. He wanted to pass on his personal thanks to absolutely every one of you, independent journalists, supporters, brave politicians, and the general public as a whole, who went to bat for him when it would have been so much easier to throw him under the bus. His gratitude, our gratitude, cannot ever be underestimated. All of us are grateful for your support for him during the last 7 months. It has not been an easy ride. It has been a time of serious concern for his physical and mental well-being. Tommy will be released from prison soon. Despite various posts online suggesting the date and time of his release, we can confirm that nothing has been set in stone on either of those points just yet. Bear in mind, Tommy has spent 7 months in solitary confinement, and when he does come out of prison, all he wants to do is go back to his family, spend some quality time with them, readjust, and slowly but surely get back on his feet. 7 months in isolation takes its toll. A man, no matter how big his balls are, please give Tommy the chance to just get out of prison, get in a car, and go home to his kids. That's all he wants. That's all he needs right now. He does not want or need any fanfare. He does not want or need paparazzi getting in his face. He just needs to get home and see his kids more than anything else. Tommy will provide you with video updates in his own good time. For now, he just needs space. We love you all. He loves you all. Trust me when we say he is coming out fighting like never before. Just give him the time and space to be able to do that. Thanks and God bless. You're all the very best. But now, Tommy doesn't get to come out of prison and spend that time on his family because he's immediately being dragged to court on the 5th of June for this new charge. Oh, there's so much I want to say. For this new spurious charge against these two MSM journalists. And of course, this is all to keep Tommy silenced. So the fight goes on. And I am proud that our unrelenting campaign here on Outspoken for the Southport massacre political prisoners has now gone mainstream. But as Lucy's husband Raymond, a Tory councillor, told us here yesterday, no wonder this is all going on when we have a dictator as PM.
I went into the corridor and I went into the advocates' chambers. And I went in there and the advocates there, and I said to him, he's there with his wig on and his black gown, and I said, what just happened just then? And he looked at me and just said, what do you expect when you've got a dictator running the country? So that's where the journey started, and 9 months later, we're here again.
Now, the great Alison Pearson has joined me on this campaign, and thanks to you, our crowdfunder, to rebuild Lucy's life, this is incredible. It's now reached over £120,000. In a prison interview with Alison, following the failure of her appeal, Lucy has finally had enough after 285 days. And I don't blame her for 1 second. This is what Lucy Connolly has said from behind bars. Shame on them. Those 3 judges that were sitting there in court should be ashamed of themselves. They are cruel, Alison. Women here in jail, they have made mistakes, and you listen to their stories and you think you were poor, you were vulnerable, you didn't know better, you made really bad choices, you can be forgiven. But those judges, intelligent men, they didn't make a mistake. It's cruel and twisted what they did. Absolute rotten bastards. Rotten, dictating, bastard judges. By keeping me away from my child. It's 3 more months without her, and for her without me. Whatever you think of what I did, I think 10.5 months inside is long enough. Speaking of her daughter and late son, she added, it's political. I know that it is, but they're playing politics with a 12-year-old child. The worst thing has already happened to me. That was Harry dying. So yes, this is bad, but it's not the worst. Alison added, 2 days ago when I asked Lucy how she thought the appeal would go, she laughed and said, I think this government would keep me in for 100 years if they could. Wasn't funny anymore. Lucy did not hesitate to blame the Prime Minister for the judge's refusal to reduce her sentence. Meanwhile, highly influential Republican figure Charlie Kirk joined our campaign yesterday, writing, Free Lucy Connolly, reposting my tweet before revealing he intends to involve the US State Department in the decision.
A lady called Lucy Connolly since you've been here.
Of course, I talked about her yesterday, and no one knew what I was talking about in Cambridge.
Who are you talking about? Who the students didn't know?
I mentioned her because I did the research. My team did an amazing job, and I think she just had her petition denied
in the last hour or so today. It's Tuesday today. She's had her appeal denied, so she's going to be carrying out her 2.5-year sentence for solitary tweets.
So outrageous.
Which she deleted 4 hours later. What's your take on the whole situation?
Well, I'm going to try to get the U.S. State Department involved. I don't know if what their bandwidth is here, but I'm sorry, again, I'm speaking as a citizen, not as a U.S. government. I just want to be very clear. Is this a way that a liberal democracy and an ally of the United States acts? Just to be clear, what she said would not be any prison time in America.
Charlie Kirk is one of many influential American MAGA stars, including J.D. Vance, the US Vice President, who believes the UK has become a totalitarian country.
And by the way, just to be clear, you guys have the wrong incitement threshold. In America, you need to have specific time and specific place in order to reach the incitement threshold. Every day people say, well, someone should go kill Charlie Kirk. I don't like it, but that's protected speech. In America, we care about what you do, not about what you say. And then she showed contrition and she apologized. And from my understanding, when the police force showed up to her door, they asked her questions being like, do you hate immigrants? No, she gave very satisfactory answers, and they still arrested her. And I just find it so outrageous that she's going to now jail for 2.5 years for a deleted social media post that she apologized for. As you guys have birthed free speech to the world, you now guys are becoming a totalitarian country.
Let that sink in. A totalitarian country, the United Kingdom. Charlie Kirk is right. Even our former Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, now admits it, telling his newspaper, the Daily Mail, that the Connolly decision amounted to a crazy and inhuman judgment, before warning Starmer's Britain is losing its reputation for free speech and turning into a police state where we must all learn to fear the knock on the door simply for something we say. The UK police are now making over 10,000 arrests every year for online comment, more than the police in Russia itself, and this judgment is yet another propaganda gift for Vladimir Putin. As Peter Lloyd pointed out, there's no doubt two-tier justice is now at play. He wrote, "This is Lord Justice Holroyd, the judge who denied Lucy Connolly's appeal. In 2022, he quietly released Labour MP Nazir Ahmed from prison, despite him being convicted of raping a 9-year-old boy in Rotherham. Holroyd is a Labour voting Liberal. Heritage Party leader David Curtin has called for him to be sacked as a result. But with the MSM on his side as always, Starmer is being allowed to play dumb."
Is freedom of speech dead in this country?
I'm not across the details of the particular case, but let me give you the principles that I would apply. Firstly, I'm strongly in favour of free speech. We've had free speech in this country for a very, very long time, and we protect it fiercely. I'm equally, though, against incitement to violence against other people. That has long been an offence in our country, and rightly so. And so I say, don't know the details of this case, but free speech, yes. Incitement to violence, no.
As Basil the Great responded, is he for real? Keir Starmer just told Sly News he's not across the detail of the Lucy Connolly case. How could he not know about this? He literally ordered thugs to be released early from prison to make way for people like Lucy Connolly. A pure liar. Hugh Edwards is a paedophile, suspended sentence. Mike Amesbury beat up a constituent, suspended sentence. Lucy Connolly sent a tweet and later took it down. 2 years, 7 months in prison. There are no words to describe how backwards and messed up the UK is. Although when challenged by freedom fighter Rupert Lowe at PMQs today, Starmer made it abundantly clear, if you listen closely, that he believes Lucy deserves to stay locked up. But first, we've partnered with Gundry MD to share this information with you. Would you believe me if I told you inside your pantry right now is one of the healthiest foods on the planet? Yep, it's true. Not some weird, trendy superfood. Spoiler alert, it's olive oil. You're probably used to cooking with it, but there are countless ways to use olive oil to help yourself look and feel younger. For example, olive oil is a natural way to help you achieve a more youthful appearance. Besides helping you look younger on the outside, it's a fantastic tool for your insides as well. According to Dr. Stephen Gundry, a famous cardiothoracic surgeon, nutrition expert, and health advocate, you should get as much high-quality olive oil into your daily routine as possible, whether it's taking a shot of it daily or keeping a bottle of it in your bathroom medicine cabinet. But what kind of olive oil is best for your health? Well, any olive oil can give you some benefits, but if you're looking to get the best results, it matters a lot which one you pick. The olive oil industry is huge. You can tell by the number of olive oil brands you see at the grocery store, and you can bet they're not all made with the consumer in mind. And many brands may even cut corners one way or another to increase profits. When Dr. Gundry came to this realization, he was appalled. But some olive oils are so powerful, it may only take a few tablespoons a week to see these incredible health benefits. So how can you tell between an olive oil that can be a health booster and which one isn't up to par? In an effort to answer that important question, Dr. Gundry has decided to take a stand and release his personal research and findings. The video has gone viral since its release, and it's important you see it so you can start benefiting immediately. You can watch the video right now by going to getolive1.com/outspoken or by clicking the link in the description box below. So that's getolive1.com/outspoken, or just click on the link in the description box below. People who have taken his advice have shared their results with him, saying the olive oil they bought after learning his simple rules has helped change their lives. So make sure you go to getolive1.com/outspoken or click on the link in the description box below this video. But now, back to the show.
Mr. Speaker, does the Prime Minister agree that imprisoning Lucy Connolly, a young mother with a 12-year-old daughter, for one foolish social media post, soon deleted, is clearly not an efficient or fair use of prison?
Mr. Speaker, sentencing is a matter for our courts. And I celebrate the fact that we have independent courts in this country. I am strongly in favour of free speech. We've had free speech in this country for a very long time, and we protect it fiercely. But I'm equally against incitement to violence against other people. And I will always support the action taken by our police and courts to keep our streets and people safe.
Okay, Starmer, do you remember this man, Ricky Jones, who remains out on bail?
And we need to cull their throats and get rid of them all.
Let me show you this woman here, who didn't serve a day behind bars. Neither did this man. I'm not even going to read the headline, but you can look at it because it shows how depraved he is. I wanted to give today's final word in the digest to an important member of the Outspoken family who we have sadly lost. Patrick O'Flynn is a Brexit hero. He was one of my favourite political commentators. We got to know each other when he became a regular guest on my former GB News show. And he was one of my very first, not to mention most articulate, convincing, and humane superstar panelists here on Outspoken. He made his last appearance in January. And his sharp decline from cancer has devastated so many in our tight-knit family. So it felt right today that I give Patrick O'Flynn the final word on this story.
The cumulative impact of all of this is to make it impossible for normal working class people to take part in politics and debate in this country.
Yes.
If you're one of these graduate, never had a proper job, learned all the jargon, you know, you can skate around this. I think the three of us today, we've probably become quite canny at knowing where the line is. But even so, it's increasingly perilous. If you're a normal British person who wants to participate in democracy, to express your outrage when little girls get butchered, you're now, boiling with frustration, but you're not confident enough to say anything because you think you might end up in jail. Also, David Lammy is in a position to understand the responsibilities of a professional political communicator, right? Mrs. Connolly might be the wife of a councillor, but she shouldn't be judged as being conversant with every spit and cough of the rapidly evolving restrictions on free speech. Now, with her sort of slightly intemperate expression, I can't remember if it was Facebook or Twitter, but she took it down after a couple of hours. If a normal person in the heat of the moment says something, and I think in her case it definitely fell short of incitement, if they then say sorry and take it down, surely in a proportional country that should be the end of it. Perhaps they should be told, maybe think about being more careful in future. But to then hound them and put a mother in prison is outrageous.
Patrick O'Flynn, a great man, always on the right side of the argument. We're going to miss you so much. Now, Father Calvin Robinson. Father Calvin Robinson, can we start with this breaking news? Tommy Robinson charged with harassment against two MSM journalists. Do you agree with me that it feels like the deep state are simply not going to stop until they have destroyed this man?
They're not going to stop. But it's not just Tommy, unfortunately. It's anyone on the political opposing side of the government. I was saying this to our friend Lawrence just the other day, that they're going to keep coming for you until they can destroy you. And this is their lawfare. This is their weaponization of the state, of the mechanisms of the establishment against anyone who they disapprove of. And Tommy Robinson is clearly one of those guys. We just had some great news. He's getting out. Fantastic. And so, bam, straight away, they hit you with the left hook. It's disgusting, isn't it?
It's completely disgusting. I mean, Lawrence Fox is absolutely another example of someone who the state is going to do everything to destroy.
Well, they want to demotivate you. They want to stop you from speaking out. That's what they want to do. And of course, Lawrence and Tommy and you and I are people that will continue to speak out regardless of what they throw at us. But it doesn't mean they'll stop. They'll continue hammering and hammering until either they manage to discredit us or imprison us or kill us. And that's what they tried to do with Tommy. This whole thing of locking him down in isolation to make him go crazy. Anyone who's locked away by themselves for that amount of time is not going to be the same person they were going in. But then, of course, putting him in particular on one of the most Mohammedan wards, or in one of the most Mohammedan prisons in the country, is signifying that these are the guys. Get him. Just as we saw the warnings on GB News and on Sly News before he went in, that people were saying, if people who are rioting, if people who are protesting, if these patriots, as they call them, far-right thugs, get sent to prison, there are Mohammedans in there waiting for them. It's all set up. They know what they're doing.
Well, of course, a prison officer had their throat slit at HMP Woodhill just last week. But yet again, they want to lock Tommy Robinson up. I also think, Father Calvin, what is so disgusting and so despicable, and it makes this so difficult, is that we have no First Amendment here, and we have these ludicrous contempt of court rules, which mean that today I can't sit here and tell you everything that I know about the case without being locked up myself. It's ludicrous. There is no free speech in, as Charlie Kirk put it, and I'm interested to know if you agree with him, in this totalitarian country.
I was speaking to Charlie just before I came on air, and he said he can't wait to get out of the UK because the combination of Islam and Marxism, the oppression in Britain is palpable.
Wow.
And we have Lucifer as the Mayor of London. I absolutely agree with him on every single word. In that you can feel the oppression in the UK between Islam and Marxism. It's everywhere. There's no freedom. And then, of course, we get the Prime Minister saying in Prime Minister's Question Time that we have a proud history of free speech and we have a long-standing history of free speech. We may do, but we don't have any free speech left anymore. How can he sit there and watch the country arrest more people for social media than in former Soviet countries and still say that we have free speech? 30 arrests a day for social media posts. We've got Tommy Robinson sent to prison for nearly 2 years. We've got Lucy Connolly for nearly 2 years. These sentences are heavy-handed approaches to what? Well, political persecution, silencing the opposition, silencing anyone who speaks out against the approved narrative. There is no free speech. There's no free speech in Britain. I thank God every day that I wake up in America where we have the First Amendment. We have that right to free speech. And actually we have the Second Amendment to back it up. So the government can never get so tyrannous as what we're seeing in the UK. And it is tyrannous. It really is.
Well, of course, because all of the laws are designed to silence any discussion around these cases. And it's so frustrating, Father Calvin. It is so frustrating to see Starmer be able to get away with this because he has so much support from the MSM. This is why, obviously, we need to build up this independent media ecosystem in this country. But I mean, how can he get away with point blank lying to JD Vance in the Oval Office? Watch.
I know.
Infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British, of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and by extension American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch.
We've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time. Well, no, I mean, certainly we wouldn't want to reach across US citizens, and we don't, and that's absolutely right. But in relation to free speech in the UK, I'm very proud of our
All of it.
I mean,
all of it is a lie. We have a long history of free speech. It will go on for much longer. We don't have any free speech any longer. We don't want to reach over to American citizens. Were you not just threatening Elon Musk, who is an American citizen, in terms of X and free speech? All of it is an absolute lie. The goal of them, man.
But only though, Father Coven, can we just be very clear? Only for anyone that sits on what previously would have been described as the right of politics or is a small c conservative, because we don't see Kneecap having a court appearance, do we? We don't see Gary Lineker having a court appearance. I want to be very clear, by the way, I don't believe either of those celebrities should be facing a court appearance, but I believe that the law should be applied equally. There shouldn't be two-tier justice.
Absolutely. All or nothing. Either all of them get court appearances or none of them do. We should have equality under the law. That was a foundation of our legal system. It seems to have been destroyed, and it is a two-tiered approach. And I know there are these threads going around of people saying, well, this is why, for example, Hugh Edwards didn't get a 2-year sentence, but Lucy Connolly did, and Tommy Robinson did. And it's the guidelines that the judges have. No, the judges do have to follow guidelines, absolutely, but they are the judges. They can provide some moral input into what they are sentencing people to. They can look at the broader picture, the context. It's not all about the guidelines. And if it were, then those guidelines need to be changed because there's clearly a problem with them.
Yeah, big time. Big time. Father Calvin Robinson, we saw at the end of the digest there, Patrick O'Flynn. Couldn't believe this news yesterday. I last saw Patrick in the flesh at a Christmas party that Julia Hartley Brewer hosted in December. That was actually taken at that party. Calvin, he was healthy. He was on great form. I met his lovely wife for the first time. He then came back on Outspoken. I think the last time he was on Outspoken was in January. None of us had any idea that he was battling this sudden, immediate cancer diagnosis.
What a strong man. What a show of stoicism to just get on with your day-to-day life, regardless of the battles that are thrown at you. I really respect that. When someone has been just going for it and then they suddenly die and then we all realize they've been fighting these internal battles, it's a reminder that we can all be stronger. I've known Patrick for a long time now. Gosh, how long have we been doing this stuff? But he was a staunch Brexiteer, but he and I agreed on, I respected his battle over BLM. Remember when Diversity were on ITV and they were kind of politicizing their dance, and he spoke out against that, as I did. We both spoke out against the whole minor attracted persons thing. They're trying to legitimize paedophilia, and Patrick spoke out against that. And also over COVID, with Valance and the whole making a god of science and politicizing the science, and he spoke out against that, as I did as well. And so what I noticed about Patrick is that he always managed to say things in a very charitable and polite way, where I don't always. I mean, I try, but he always managed to get that across in a way that was amicable. And so I really admire him for that.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.